There are seasons in life when the weight of everything seems too much to bear. You look around and wonder if anyone truly sees the battle you're fighting inside. It's not the kind of battle with noise and weapons. It's quieter, deeper, and more personal. It's the kind that steals your sleep, weakens your confidence, and makes even breathing feel like effort. You try to stay strong, but the pressure builds. The questions grow louder. Why me? When will this end? What did I do? Yet somewhere between your pain and your perseverance, something unseen begins to move, something powerful, silent, and deeply intentional. You can't touch it or define it, but it surrounds you like air. It's that invisible strength that rises when your energy falls, the gentle whisper that says, keep going, even when you feel too weak to continue. There is a presence that does not leave you even when you feel abandoned. When your plans collapse and your world falls apart, that presence is still working behind the scenes, orchestrating moments that will one day make sense. Every storm, every delay, every heartbreak is not an accident. There is a wholly unseen force that fights battles on your behalf, not because you asked perfectly, not because you earned it, but because you are worth it. You've made it through things that others never knew you were facing. You smiled when you wanted to scream, you stood when your soul wanted to fall, and you kept walking through chaos that tried to drown you. That wasn't luck. That was the Spirit standing between you and destruction, shielding you when you couldn't defend yourself. Think about the nights you almost gave up when you thought there was no way out. Somehow something whispered to your heart, just one more day. You didn't know how, but you got up. You faced the sun again. You found the strength to move that was not coincidence. It was the quiet hand of the Holy Spirit guiding you through the shadows, fighting off the things that were never meant to touch. Every time you survived what should have ended you, every time you found calm in chaos, every time peace visited you in pain, it was evidence that you were never fighting alone. The Spirit doesn't always announce His presence with signs or miracles. Sometimes it simply steadies your heart and steadies your steps. You see, the most powerful forces in life are often invisible. Gravity, air, thought, faith, none can be seen, yet they shape everything. The same is true for the Spirit. It moves quietly, not demanding attention, but transforming everything it touches. When you cry out in silence, it listens. When you stumble, it catches you. When life tries to crush you, it lifts you before you break. It knows every battle you fought in your mind, every fear you've buried, every wound you've hidden behind your smile, and it stands guard like a protector, unseen but undefeated. The Spirit doesn't just fight the battles in front of you, it fights the ones inside you, the ones between your doubt and your destiny, your fear and your faith. Every closed door that frustrated you was not rejection. Every delay was protection. The Spirit saw what you couldn't see. It knew that what you were asking for wasn't ready, or maybe you weren't ready for it, so it rearranged your path. You thought you lost something, but in truth, you were being led to something greater. That's how battles are won in silence. Not by force, but by divine timing. The Holy Spirit doesn't fight to destroy your enemies. It fights to shape your strength, to awaken your power, to show you that victory is not a moment, it's a mind. And in those moments when you feel empty, when no amount of motivation seems to work, that's when the Spirit does its deepest work. It restores without noise. It rebuilds you in stillness instead of answers. Growth instead of comfort, resilience instead of revenge. You may not always feel His presence, but the evidence is everywhere. In the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still trying. That's proof that the battle wasn't lost. You're the evidence of unseen victory. Some of the greatest wars in life are fought in silence. The war between giving up and holding on, between fear and faith, between pain and peace. You're not standing in that tension by accident. The Spirit chose you to stand there because you carry something strong enough to survive it. Every scar you have is a reminder that you didn't fall alone. Something was fighting beside you even when you didn't realize it. The Spirit doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes it teaches you how to walk through the rain and not drown. It doesn't always stop the fire. Sometimes it gives you the strength to walk through it without being burned. That's how the invisible force of grace works. It changes not your circumstance first, but your strength. You've been wondering why certain things haven't worked out, why the road has been so rough, Why the people you trusted drifted away? Maybe it's because the Spirit was removing distractions, clearing space and preparing you for something that needed your full attention. What looks like loss is often protection. What feels like pain is often preparation. And what seems like delay is often divine alignment. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're in the middle of a fight that has already been decided in your favor. So even when you can't see it, believe it. Even when you don't feel it, trust it. The invisible strength moving through your life right now is real. You may not understand it, but one day you'll look back and realize that every hard moment was a piece of a greater victory. The Holy Spirit is fighting for you, not in some faraway place, but right here, right now in the silence between your breath and your heartbeat. And though you can't see the battle, you'll soon see the result. Sometimes the toughest battles are not the ones that the world can see. They aren't fought in open spaces with clear enemies or obvious victories. They happen inside your chest, inside your thoughts, in the quiet corners of your mind where no one can reach. You wake up every day trying to hold everything together. The responsibilities, the dreams, the disappointments, the people who depend on you. And somewhere along the way, you start to believe that everything depends on you alone. You start to think that if you just try harder, plan better, or stay up longer, you can fix it all. But that belief is what exhausts the soul. Because the truth is, you were never designed to fight every battle by yourself. There comes a point when human effort meets its limit, when logic can't explain the chaos, when even the strongest heart needs help that can't be seen. And that's where the Holy Spirit steps in, not as a last resort, but as the silent power that's been waiting for you to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing control. It means admitting that you don't have all the answers and that maybe that's okay. The world teaches us that control equals strength, but in reality, control often becomes the very weight that drags us down. When you hold too tightly to how things should go, you block the flow of how things are meant to go. You can't receive what's coming next if your hands are too full, holding what's already broken. The Spirit moves best in surrendered spaces, in hearts that are open, not clenched. When you stop forcing and start trusting, you make room for miracles. Think about the moments in your life when things didn't go according to plan, but somehow ended up better than you expected. You might not have realized it then, but something greater was orchestrating the shift. Maybe the job you didn't get saved you from a place that would have drained you. Maybe the person who left made space for someone who would truly understand you. Maybe the opportunity that slipped away wasn't rejection. It was redirection. The Spirit doesn't always shout. It doesn't rush. It rearranges. And while you were busy worrying about what was being taken from you, it was preparing what was coming for you. When you finally learn to release what you can't control, peace begins to rise. It's not the loud kind of peace that comes from everything going right. It's the quiet kind, the peace that doesn't make sense, the calm that settles even when the storm still rages. That's when you know the Spirit is at work, because it doesn't just fix your circumstances, see them. You start to notice that not every battle needs your reaction. Not every problem needs your panic, and not every delay means denial. You begin to understand that strength is not about forcing outcomes, but about trusting timing. There is a power that surrounds you, fights for you, and guides you even when you can't see where you're going. When you stop trying to be in charge of everything, you allow that power to take the lead. The Spirit begins to open doors you didn't even knock. It brings people into your life who speak the right words at the right time. It gives you clarity in confusion and courage in fear. Suddenly, things start to fall into place, not because you're pushing, but because you're flowing. The battle was never about control. It was about alignment, aligning your heart with purpose, your thoughts with peace, your actions with trust. The moment you stop trying to manipulate outcomes, you free yourself from anxiety. You start to breathe differently. You start to see how much energy you wasted trying to force what was never meant to be. You realize that surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's choosing to believe that what's meant for you cannot be taken, that what's against you cannot win, and that the Spirit working within you knows what's best far more than your plans ever could. The Spirit is not limited by logic, time, or circumstance. It works beyond your understanding, weaving threads of destiny while you're still learning how to trust the pattern. And sometimes the biggest act of faith is simply to be still. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means knowing that while you wait, the Spirit works. It means that your job is not to chase peace, but to allow peace to find you. When you stop resisting what is and start trusting what will be, something inside you shifts. You begin to feel lighter, freer, calmer. The storm outside doesn't scare you the same way because you've learned that the real battle is already being fought for you. You don't need to fight everything. Some battles are won by letting the Spirit fight for you in silence. You may not see the changes right away. You may not understand why certain things had to happen. But one day when you look back, you'll realize that every unanswered prayer was actually answered differently. Every closed door was a redirection to something greater. And every painful ending was the beginning of a new chapter that you couldn't have written better yourself. The Spirit was never late. It was aligning you with divine timing. You'll see that what once broke your heart was the very thing that built your strength. And what once felt like loss was the preparation for. Letting go is not about losing control. It's about trusting that you're not in this alone. The Holy Spirit is not distant. It's within and around you, fighting battles you don't even know exist, removing obstacles you never saw coming, and protecting you from what you thought you wanted. When you stop forcing outcomes and allow life to unfold, you begin to walk in rhythm with something greater than yourself. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop fearing and start trusting. And that's when the impossible begins to happen. Because when you let the Spirit lead, you don't lose direction. You find your destiny. Right now, someone listening or reading this feels like they've reached their limit. You've tried, you've prayed, you've pushed, and still life keeps pressing harder. The weight on your shoulders feels heavier than ever. Every door you knock on seems to stay closed. Every plan you make seems to fall apart. You keep asking, when will this change? Or when will it finally make sense? But what you don't see is that even in this moment of confusion, the Holy Spirit is moving on your behalf. It's working behind the scenes, arranging details, aligning timing and shifting circumstances in ways you can't yet understand. What looks like delay is not denial. What feels like silence is not absence. Something greater is unfolding even in what seems like nothingness. There's a reason your story isn't over yet. Every struggle you faced, every heartbreak, every disappointment, they all serve the purpose. You didn't go through it for no reason. Sometimes what feels like a breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. The Holy Spirit doesn't always remove the battle. Sometimes it strengthens you in the middle of it. Because it's not just fighting for you, it's fighting through you, shaping your endurance, refining your patience, and stretching your faith until you become unshakable. You're not the same person you were before the storm. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more grounded. The very thing that was meant to break you is now building the person you were meant to become. When life feels heavy, it's easy to believe you're stuck or forgotten. But there's movement happening that you can see. Every tear you've cried has watered the ground of your future. Every lonely night, every quiet prayer, every time you chose to keep going when you wanted to quit, all of it has been seen, all of it has been heard. The Spirit has been fighting for you in those hidden places. The battles you didn't even know existed. The ones in the minds of others, the decisions being made about you, the doors that needed to open at just the right time. They're all being influenced by a power that's already on your side. You're not behind, you're being prepared. You might feel like everything is falling apart, but sometimes that's how things fall into place. When a seed breaks open in the soil, it looks like destruction, but it's actually transformation. That's what's happening to you. You're not being buried, you're being planted. What you're going through isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your becoming. The Holy Spirit is using your pain to stretch your capacity to prepare you for something far greater than what you. Every season of waiting, every moment of uncertainty is teaching you to trust what you can't yet see. It's easy to praise when life is good, but real strength is built in the waiting, in the silence where you have no proof, but still choose to believe. That's when the Spirit's power is strong. It doesn't just lift you out of the fire. It teaches you to walk through it untouched. It doesn't remove the storm. It teaches you how to stand in it without fear. You are being refined, not rejected. Every challenge is building a deeper faith in you. Faith that isn't dependent on what you see, but on what you know inside. The Spirit is not just fighting battles outside of you. It's transforming the one within you. The war between doubt and belief, between surrender and control, between who you were and who you're becoming. Sometimes you'll notice small signs that remind you things are shifting. A sudden peace in your heart, a chance encounter, a message that speaks directly to your soul. Those are not coincidences. Those are confirmation. The Holy Spirit Spirit is showing you glimpses of what's already in motion. What you think is delayed is actually being timed perfectly. Because if you received everything you asked for too early, you wouldn't be ready to handle it. The Spirit doesn't just want you to have blessings, it wants you to be prepared for them, and preparation often feels like pain. But pain is not punishment, it's progress. The truth is, breakthrough rarely looks like what we expect. It doesn't always arrive with a grand announcement. Sometimes it comes quietly. In the moment you decide to keep believing when everything tells you not to. Sometimes the biggest victory is just refusing to give up. You may not realize it, but even now, the Spirit is working in ways that will make sense later. The pieces are aligning, the doors are unlocking, and the path that once looked impossible is beginning to clear. You don't have to know how it will happen. You just have to know that it will. You've been through too much to stop here. The Spirit didn't bring you this far to leave you halfway. You're closer to your breakthrough than you think. The pressure you feel is proof that something powerful is being birthed through you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is refined in fire, and greatness is revealed in adversity. This is not your ending, it's your preparation for expansion. The same Spirit that lifted you before will lift you again. The same presence that protected you before is protecting you now. You may not see the whole picture, but the victory is already written. You are standing in a moment that will one day become your testimony. Every struggle, every battle, every sleepless night, it all has meaning. The Holy Spirit is not just fighting for your future. It's transforming your present. You are not losing. You are learning. You are not defeated. You are being developed. You are not forgotten. You are not forgotten. So even when you can't feel it, trust that something divine is happening in your story right now. Because while you're worrying about what's going wrong, the Spirit is already making everything right. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, and it's already in motion. Listen to me, you've come too far to doubt yourself now. You've walked through storms that should have drowned you, and yet here you are. Still breathing, still standing, still rising. That's not weakness, that's proof of divine strength living inside you. There's a reason you're hearing these words right now. It's not random, it's not coincidence, it's a reminder. The Holy Spirit is still fighting for you, even when you think the battle is lost. It's moving mountains that you didn't even know were standing in your way. So don't you dare give up now. You may not see the victory yet, but that doesn't mean it's not already unfolding. The greatest battles are won before the world ever sees them. Every single second you choose faith over fear, you are winning. Every moment you refuse to quit, even when your heart is tired, you are winning. Every tear that falls in silence is not wasted. It's watering the seed of your future. You've cried enough to fill oceans, but those tears are not a symbol of weakness. They are proof that you have not stopped trying. They are evidence that the Spirit inside you refuses to quit. I want you to say this out loud. I am not alone in this fight, because you aren't. You've got a power beside you, within you, working through you that's far greater than any problem standing against you. You may not have the answers, but you have the presence of strength. You may not see the way, but the way is already being made. The Holy Spirit does not lose battles. It doesn't retreat, it doesn't surrender, and it never leaves you unprotected. You might feel surrounded, but what you don't realize is that what surrounds you is surrounded by something greater. So when your mind says, I can't take this anymore, answer it back and say, yes, I can, because I'm not fighting alone. When doubt whispers, it's over, respond, no, it's just beginning. When fear says, you'll never make it, look up and remind yourself, I already have. I'm still here. You're stronger than the storm that tried to break you. You are not a victim of life. You are a vessel of purpose. You were built for this moment. You've been refined through fire, shaped by struggle and guided by unseen hands that refuse to let you fall. Sometimes strength isn't loud. Sometimes it's that quiet decision to rise again after being knocked down. It's choosing peace over panic, faith over frustration, and progress over pity. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be for your next chapter to unfold. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they all led you here, because here is where transformation happens. Here is where the Spirit steps in and says, now watch what I can do. Look back at everything you've survived. Every heartbreak, every closed door, every sleepless night. You thought those moments were the end, but they were preparation. Every time something left your life, it made room for something greater to enter. Every time you thought it was over, the Spirit whispered, I'm not done yet. You didn't come this far to break. You came this far to bloom. You are not standing in ruins. You are standing on rebuilding ground. Something new is rising within you. The Holy Spirit is rewriting your story in real time. The same power that carried you through your darkest nights is carrying you right now. The same grace that rescued you before is working again, stronger, deeper, and with more purpose than ever. You may not see the full picture yet, but you don't need. All you need to know is that victory has already been declared over your life. You just have to walk it out. Keep moving, keep believing, keep showing up for yourself, even when you don't have all the answers. The Spirit fights hardest for those who keep standing when everything tells them to sit down. And listen, your story isn't just about you. Someone else is going to find strength you'll survive. Someone's going to hear your testimony one day and say, if they made it, I can too. You are becoming a living reminder that faith works, that resilience wins, that peace is possible. You are walking proof that the unseen battles produce the strongest warriors. So don't silence your story. Don't hide your scars. They are the evidence of battles already won. There will come a moment, and it's closer than you think, when everything will click. The pain will make sense. The confusion will turn to clarity. You'll look back and realize that every delay was divine timing. Every heartbreak was redirection. And every season of silence was spiritual preparation. The Holy Spirit wasn't punishing you. It was you didn't lose anything meant for you. You were being prepared for something you couldn't have handled back then. And now you're ready. So take a deep breath. Let go of the need to control every outcome. The Spirit's got this. The battle is not yours to fight alone. It's already being handled quietly, perfectly, powerfully. Your job now is to believe, to rest, and to rise. The weight you're carrying is being lifted. The doors you've been waiting on are unlocking. And the peace you've been praying for is finding you right now. This is your moment to stand tall again, to declare with conviction, I am not done yet. The Holy Spirit is still at work, still fighting, still protecting, still guiding. You may not see the win, but you can feel it move. That's how you'll know the miracle is close. Don't miss what's coming because of what's behind you. You've already survived the worst. Now it's time to live in the victory that's already yours. The Holy Spirit is your battles right now. And if you could see what's happening in the unseen, you'd stop worrying and start rejoicing. The war is almost over. The victory is already written. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's here.